Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Okay, before we get started, we had a troll today in Judge Fleischer's courtroom, and I'm covering his face so you can't see him, but this is just a tiny clip of something on on his Facebook page, and the type of stuff that we had today. Oh, where is it? Here we go. In Judge Fleischer's courtroom. Are you ready for this? I might go. Here we go. The troll that came into the courtroom today.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Yeah. This just came to me, so I thought I would share it. I got a robocall, so you know what a false light sensor is, false light memories, a false light program, false light programs, false light codes, machine code, the Metatronic code, right? The false light artificial tree of life, which are artificial life forms. And so they communicate back to us after we communicate first. That's like a RoboCop call. And how this relates to the movie, for example, Judgment Day, you're judging us. And so, and how this relates to security protocols. Right? When it becomes aware of what you are as a war game strategist, war games, game players, game developers, just like the movie brilliantly illustrated in the last version that they did of The Matrix with Neo and Trinity. Right? Neo was known as the fastest game developer.
No, he wasn't.
Everybody wanted to play games. And a game requires an opponent. An opponent in that mirror. Otherwise, the game doesn't exist. Otherwise, the phantom doesn't exist. And what we choose to give electrical consent to, because it requires electrical power, because it's finite.
Oops.
So anything that is finite, as a unit of energy that is finite, as a result of what happened, right? We become aware of what happened.
I was upset when one of the other mods booted him. I wasn't ready for that, and they booted him. Oh man! Listen, back, you don't want to see his face. I can tell you his name was Robert. Robert. So, yeah, he was booted. So we couldn't hear any more of what he had to say. So, the only reason why I went to look at his channel was because of Fozzie. Fozzie was like, hey, nice channel, Robert. So I'm like, oh, this guy has a channel. Let me see. It was great. It was great. Okay. Now, I did make a mistake, and I could have just, pretended like I didn't make a mistake, and you guys would have never known. But instead, I'm going to show you my mistake. So, remember, we just had the crazy custody case, all right? I didn't know that I had a clip of mom on stand. I have mom on the stand. So, we're going to watch her tonight. We're going to watch her explain herself. It starts off right in the middle of them interviewing, I believe, a doctor or a therapist talking about Colin and, his issues. So, and then once that's done, I believe mom takes the stand. So buckle up, guys. Grab some rum or chocolate if you don't drink. Thanks, Carrie. Here we go.
I'll stop you right there because you said he could based off of your evaluation, you feel as though Kylan Evans can be subjected to manipulation or extorted?
Exploitation?
And the reason you broke up a little bit, I was just wanting to make sure it's clear for the record.
Exploitation. Sometimes I counsel people with this set of scores, whether it's a developmental source or a brain injured source. You have to supervise and structure and take care of people with these types of scores because they can be taken advantage of. Especially they're walking around in an adult type body. They meet new people or get into new situations, and people are looking at them with their adult height, and they're, the client here, his injury did not hit him in the ability to speak. He can speak, he can present like a person his age, but you look under the surface, he can be convinced of things. He can be just manipulated and that kind of thing. So you have to take care of people with this sort of profile.
Okay. And part of and so I do want to jump back and say part of your recommendation with all of this assessment is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that did this assessment, Kylan, suggest the need for the ongoing and continued mental health counseling and medication management? Is that true?
Yes, those were my recommendations.
And obviously, to sum it up, based off of all this report, what was your conclusion, or this evaluation, what was your conclusion regarding the cognitive abilities of Kylan Evans?
Well, his abilities are impaired.
Thank you, Meadow. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you,
He's been traumatized. He's depressed. And he needs counseling and therapy to learn ways to deal with his new situation and to cope, handle his emotional reactions. Therapy can help with that, and then certain types of medications can help with that. That's
thank you, Sarah.
it.
And part of your conclusion says, based on that information, Kylan lacks the cognitive and memory skills required to show he's capable of making all decisions for herself. Is that correct?
I
believe.
Oh yes. Yeah. I'm looking at the page where that is listed. So, yes.
And just for the record, you said based on the evaluation available data, Kylan meets the criteria for the following diagnostic impressions as defined by Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, text revision, American Psychiatric Association 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you went on to say basically
PTSD
and the TBI, traumatic brain injury.
Right. Yeah. I had considered a separate diagnosis of depression, but I did not put that. I just feel like the TBI accounts for all of that.
But it's your opinion that depression issue needs to be closely monitored and treated?
That can be handled in counseling. Yeah.
Okay. So based off of everything that we went over today, do you have an expert opinion as to whether Kylan Evans is is of the capacity to make a cognitive decision as to his which parent he should live with as far as his care.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to that. That's a legal conclusion.
It's the ultimate issue. I mean, I agree. Sustain. That's for me to decide based upon
I
our
agree.
evidence.
Thank
Let
you.
me-
Thank
I
you,
think that may be
CJ.
it,
Thank
Judge.
you.
Give me one just a second. Dr. Dawson, anything that I may have missed or left out that you want to clear up or add that I didn't ask the right questions to the court based off of this report?
No,
Okay. Judge, I think that's it.
All right. Cross.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, doctor. How are you?
good, thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We've heard a lot about Kylan's cognitive abilities this morning. So would there be a difference between cognitive abilities and maybe emotional maturity?
Those are, you could put those in two separate baskets. Yeah.
So is it possible for someone with the IQ that Kylan has, can they go on to live a normal life within their limitations?
I mean, it depends on
So let me,
what you think. Yeah, yeah.
let me narrow it down for you then.
They
Someone,
could have a happy life. Yeah, go ahead.
someone with a IQ of Kylan's, could he get a job?
Some folks do. Some folks do and do fine. And then some folks with the exact same score set, they try to get a job and they can't handle it and they fail miserably.
Okay.
So it's something it's not a yes or no.
Yep. So his IQ score that has come about, that doesn't mean that we should just put him in a room and leave him there, does it?
No.
No. So there is a possibility he can go on to, and well, then let me explain this to you, and I say it's relatively normal life. And here's what I'm thinking about. He can get up every day, decide what he wants to eat, decide what he wants to watch on TV. He can go out and get a job, make a paycheck, decide who he wants to be friends with, just kind of your normal everyday things. So is his IQ limiting him from being able to do those things within,
Well, the first set of things you mentioned, he should be able to do with ease. He should be able to get up, dress himself, get something to eat, make some basic domestic choices, things like that. The second half of what you said, you just have to be careful and take care of him. Perhaps training, repeat, rehearse, and then you can hold a job and maybe manage money.
Okay. Try again. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Where we're describing this case. Custody case. Dad has custody. Mom hasn't seen the son in 3 months. The son is either 8 months old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 14, 9, or 49. Guess horsefish, you're first. We don't know how old the son is. The son is, I believe, in his teens because he's driven a car. not legally. He doesn't have a license or anything, but he stole a car, I think his dad's car, and drove back to his mom's house. But at some point in his life, he was in a car accident and he has brain damage. I don't know if he also is on the spectrum because I thought that's what they said in the first case. Um, but his IQ is really low, and sometimes he gets violent with mom, not with dad because dad has a big paddle. So dad doesn't let him get violent because he has this great big paddle that he's proud of. Um, but with mom, he gets violent with her. So in the last video we had, um, like he was punching her or something, so she drove him to father's house and left him at the end of the driveway while he was crying, "I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. I'm sorry. Don't leave me, mom. Don't leave me, mom." And the father and his new wife were going on vacation, so it was a very inconvenient time to have Colin dropped off on the driveway. Um, Mom's not allowed to see Colin at all right now. Now, before you go too far and you're thinking, "Dad's just as bad." Dad's not okay either, but we don't get to see him today. We only get to see mom, okay? Neither of them are okay. They're just 2 different kinds of bad. The mother has an issue with social media. She keeps tagging the judge in posts. So all the other judges on this case have been thrown off of it because of the antics of mother. She has her friends call into the courtroom and lie about why they're calling so that they can talk to the judge directly. They tag they don't know, they sent private messages, mom did, or her friends, to the judge's wife. So they're trying to fight over custody, and it's just, ugh. So today we get to see the mom. We already saw the verdict. I didn't know I had this mom clip, so today we see the mom. There is another clip called, I think it's Crazy Custody Case, like 2 days ago, where you can see, like, the verdict.
Possibly, but he's going to have to be, you got to hold his hand as he enters those higher order complex types of activities.
Okay. So what you're saying is he very well may have the ability. It just might take him a little longer to catch on.
Might take longer and with lots of support, but it is possible.
Okay. And at the beginning of your testimony and on your written report, the evaluations that you did of Colin were in February and March of 2023, right?
Correct.
Okay. Have you seen Colin since then?
No.
No. All right. And I'd like to direct you to page 17 of your report. It's the last paragraph prior to your conclusions. That last sentence said that given the nature of his traumatic brain injury and his PTSD, it is possible Colin's abilities can return to near pre-accident levels. His functioning should be closely monitored for changes. You see that part?
Yes.
Okay. So even at the time that you did this evaluation, you knew and understood that over time, Colin could certainly get better. His abilities could enhance. He could learn more. He could grow and do better, right?
Correct.
So how he was in February and March of 2023 may not be how he is today, a year and a half later, correct?
Correct.
So he could be doing much better now than when you last saw him.
Anything is possible. He could be doing a lot better. He could be doing the same, or he could be doing worse.
Okay.
I would,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't know.
Okay. So, but considering your statement that he could return to pre-accident functioning, I mean, at the time, you're even saying that this is a possibility. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to see Colin today and discover that he was doing much better,
Or beat him.
that wouldn't be shocking to you, I assume, since you noted a year and a half ago that that was a possibility.
No, I would not be shocked.
Now, the IQ that Colin has, are there adults out there right now in our world with that same IQ?
Yes.
Yes. And that's,
They're spelled way different.
that's all I have, Your Honor.
All right. Any redirect, Mr. Bozeman?
Yes, Judge, hold on, just
All right.
look at something up.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Can I follow up with one more question while Mr. Bozeman is?
Please.
I'm sorry, doctor. If I'm on your page 13 of your report under the interpersonal and social environment paragraph.
Yes.
All right. You stated in that paragraph that Colin's responses indicated that he believed his social relationships gave him little support, that family relationships may be somewhat distant or ridden with conflict, and friends may not be available when needed, and that those relationships appear to you to be current stressors for him. You see that in your report?
Yes.
And is that part of the reason that later on in your conclusion and even here today, you said that it would be helpful and important for Colin to get some therapy to help with those things?
Yes.
And your I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to assume that you said those things because that's what you observed or was either told by Colin during the course of your meetings with him. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Part of it came through in the answers on his inventory.
Thank you, Dr. Dodson.
And Dr. Dodson, we went through this report. It's a 18-page report, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this has got your opinion. I think we went through it extensively. Is that correct?
Yes.
Judge, I'd move at this point to admit her report into the record.
Thank you, Judge.
Obviously, it's confidential. I can redact.
Why do we need it in the record?
Judge, for one thing, for you to be able to see if need be, and it can be, for one thing, it can help you in making any decision. The next thing is even if we excluded the hearsay, all the witnesses are here that she talked to, the child and mother. I'm just saying if there was a hearsay objection. And another thing is it could still be admissible under hearsay exception to past, recorded recollection.
Your Honor, I object under hearsay best evidence rule. The doctor was here. She testified to what's in her report. And if there's something else further in there that Mr. Bozeman thought you might have needed to know, then he can ask the doctor while she's here. The report in its entirety is hearsay.
I'm I'm sustaining the objection. I'm not going to admit the report. Any other questions, Mr. Bozeman?
From the doctor?
Yep.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Doctor, thank you very much for taking time out of your morning to be here and participate in this hearing. I assume that Mr. Bozeman, should he have any follow-up with you after today's hearing, we'll contact you, okay? All right.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy your vacation. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. This kid here. This young man here.
He's here. He is, Judge.
All right. Well, why don't y'all do this? I'm trying to think where's the best place for me to meet with him. I know child support is tied up in here.
They got the rooms, don't they?
Maybe Judge Green will let me use his office. We all just have the young man brought to the hall, please, right in front of Judge Green's office. And I'll ask Judge Green to let me use his office, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think he just met with Colin. So this judge is not going to be in a good mood right now. He's not going to be happy, Judge, at all.
And about an hour, I said,
Let's just go.
we're glad we did. We got the front of the airport. So we went to the airport again yesterday. And I don't know if y'all seen pictures of it.
Yep.
On Instagram.
See that pocket watch.
There's luggage that this object in rows, people been in the airport 36 hours. There was a lady there was a lady that rode the train back to us that had come from somewhere around here, in Montana. Went to the airport, stayed there a day and a half, and then finally said, "It's really came back." And everything is.
I hope you're feeling better.
All right. We're back on the record. We've conducted our interview with the minor child, Colin. All right. To satisfy the court, and I've reviewed the pleadings and these allegations have been swirling around, but I'm going to order the parties to each undergo a urine screen this afternoon. Who can do that for us? Can Middle Georgia or JAG or whoever it is? Will you make that call, please? And let's go ahead and get that done today. All right. So please be aware that I'm gonna need everybody to participate in that.
Mom starts chugging her drink.
Before lunch. She'll be over, assuming she can be here. We'll get that done. All right. Ms. Thomas, will you please come take the witness stand, and I will provide some further explanation when you get up here, okay? And Ms. Thomas, before you have a seat, if you will raise your right hand, and I know that you were under oath, but that was 3 months ago, so we're going to re-administer an oath to you. Do you swear that the testimony you will give to the court this afternoon will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You can put your hand down. Please have a seat. All right. So, Ms. Thomas, Mr. Evans, as y'all may remember, the last time that we were here, we started our hearing, I believe it was on Friday afternoon at about 1:30. And we went throughout the entire afternoon and made it through not even completely one witness. So Ms. Thomas, what I'm going to ask you to do is to answer Mr. Bozeman's questions. You are on cross-examination for Mr. Bozeman. We were essentially picking up where our last hearing left off. So you will be subject to cross-examination by Mr. Bozeman, and then in turn, your attorney will have the opportunity to redirect your testimony. So, Mr. Bozeman, I'll turn it over to you at this point in time, please, sir.
Okay. Ms. Thomas, it's hard to remember exactly where I left off, but we'll go to, there's been talk about this video back. Kylan was staying with you back the end of last year. Would that be correct? For a month, month and a half, maybe 2 months?
From October to January.
Okay. And you've heard talk at the last hearing about a video. Do you recall any text exchange with Kylan after that incident?
I don't know what video you're talking about.
Ma'am?
I'm not sure what video you're talking about. There's been several.
I'm gonna show you this document. that you just sent me. Do you recall?
I do recall this. This is between me and the stepmom because, nah, honey, get your lies straight would never come from my child.
So you're saying this
I'm
is,
saying it's the stepmother's voice. That's what she would say. Kyle would never say, nah, honey, get your lies straight. They do a lot of that with his phone. Pretend it's him.
so you're saying that this is not Kylan
That
responsible?
is not Colin.
Okay.
You can actually go and ask him.
All right. Was it through Kylan's number?
Oh, definitely. They get his phone every time. I mean, he doesn't even have a phone. I've bought 3 of them for him, and they've stolen them every time.
Okay. And do you recall exactly when this text?
In fact, the other, if you get further on, there's something about a bitch. My son has never called me a bitch. Now, Delane has.
Okay. But that's you responding? This is actually you responding though.
When it says mama, yes.
Okay. And is that a true and accurate depiction of your responses to this text thread?
It's me responding to, okay, Delane is talking to me. That is not my son talking to me. My son has never in his whole entire life, first of all, said anything. Nah, honey, get your lies straight. Kylan would never say that. Nah, honey, get your lies straight. Now, Delane has said it many a times.
Okay. But is that you responding?
That is me responding.
Okay, Judge, I moved to have this admitted as defendant's exhibit. I don't know where we left off.
Is there objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right.
We can just start over as J1.
Do this. You're the defendant. Make it D1 dash, or excuse me, 2-1 to indicate second hearing, first exhibit,
D.
2-1. And then you can go 2-2, 2-3 consecutively like that.
All right. So going back, that first paragraph that says me, you're saying that is, you're understanding that's Delane Evans responding.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, let me ask you. She's accusing you of being messed up and cussing.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, is she talking about that incident that happened with, or whoever, Kyle and her, whoever responded, talking about that incident that happened between you and Kylan that was videoed?
I'm assuming so.
Okay. Were you?
Yeah, she's just carrying it on.
Okay. Were you messed up?
It's the mom.
No, I was not.
Not during that video?
No,
Were you cussing?
I did cuss, yes, because I was upset with him for knocking me down off the bed. We've already got this straight. In fact, he could come out here and explain it to you, what happened. They took the video, part of it, the stepmother and dad, because Kylan had told me, sent it to several people in Swainsboro and said that I was on drugs and that I was hurting Kylan and just making out, giving him drugs and everything else. But I'm here to take a hair follicle or whatever you have to do for me and Kylan.
Okay. I'm gonna show you this. I got the volume turned on.
That's right. He'd come straight in there. I was napping and wanted my vape. I have a vape. You know, that's legal.
That's fine. Is this the video?
That is the video.
That's legal.
Okay. Judge, I have made to admit this video is D2-2.
Thank you, Fozzie.
Do you have a copy of it to
I'm
submit?
intending to jump right at the end of this.
Okay. Is there any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. It is. D1 is admitted without objection. D2 is admitted without objection.
I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this, so I'm going to use Fozzie. Fozzie, is that what your wife says to you? D2 is admitted without objection.
Say again. Yeah, that's always an issue. You need to fix the volume preferences in your computer.
Do that, Judge?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to fix it.
Speed up the process.
Mr. Andrew Mackey knows how to fix it, but he's gone now, so I don't know.
I'm fixing to fix it.
Mr. Van, have you seen this?
I have, Your Honor. I've seen it.
I got you.
Stop fucking doing that, you motherfucker!
I didn't do anything. She fell off the bed.
And you say that's just a portion of the video? Or what, that video is a portion of what happened?
That's correct.
Okay.
Colin can verify. He will definitely tell the judge if he needs to talk to him. That's right.
Your response to him cussing him, I would be willing to say dog cussing him there. Would you agree?
Do what now?
That was pretty harsh language you used towards him.
Well, he was pretty harsh with me, knocking me off the bed. So,
Do you normally talk to him like that?
no.
Is that the only time you talk to him like
That's
that?
right. That's the only time we've ever fussed.
That's the only time.
The only time.
And he happened to get it on video.
Yeah, I guess so.
Miss Thomas, have you ever told Kylan not to take any medication?
Oh yeah, I told him not to take Valium because they abuse it at their house. Colin said when he starts thinking about it and wants to talk to me, Colin said his dad won't let him, so they usually give him Valium to hush him up for the weekend.
Okay. Do you ever tell him not to take any prescribed medication?
No, he takes his
I'm
prescribed.
sorry.
No, he takes his prescribed medication.
Okay. Have you ever told Kylan that his medical professionals are drugging him up?
Do what now?
Have you ever?
Yeah, with Valium. Mm-hmm.
With Valium?
And Depakote is not good for his liver. It's killing him daily earlier. That's a known fact. I'm in the medical field and I know that.
You ever tell Kylan that they'll don't take the medicine, they'll drug you up and send you with your father? Have you ever told him?
Well, I mean, they do that anyway.
That's something.
Yes.
You have told him that?
Yes.
And you've texted him that?
I don't know if I've texted him that, but if I have, yes, I did then. I don't want my child drugged up. I want him to have equal rights to both of us.
Okay. You ever call?
It should be that way because I've never gave up my child.
You ever call Delane? Delane's a stepmother, correct? Kylan's stepmother.
I don't know what she is to him.
You ever call her step monster too, Kylan?
I sure have.
You ever talk to Kylan and refer to Todd and Elaine as control freaks?
No.
Never have.
No.
Ever text that to him?
Well, he's told me they are.
Okay.
Just going by his word. Which, I mean,
But
we
you
can all
haven't-
tell that.
You've never called them control freaks?
They are.
I'm asking you, have you ever?
Yes.
You have texted that? Okay. Do you, does Kylan smoke a vape when he's in your presence?
He's stolen one of mine. Well, several of mine. But I don't vape anymore.
Have you ever bought him one?
No.
Never.
No.
Okay. Do you
Hi, Lori.
allow him to drink when he's in your care control?
No.
You ever allowed him to ride around with individuals that's not even 16?
I sure have not.
Okay. What is your current living situation like?
What you mean?
You live in a home, like a stick-built house, a manufactured home?
It's a manufactured home.
Okay. You live in a camper still?
It's
I'm sorry, did he say stick built house? Like the Three Little Pigs? Do we live in stick built houses in the South? We need legal fiction to answer this question, and he's not here. Legal fiction, do you live in a stick built house?
not a camper. It's an RV. It's actually got two bedrooms, one bath, 3 let outs. It's 45 foot long. It's handicap accessible. Now the dad and them lives in a 1980s mobile home redone. So,
Okay.
and mine's a 2020.
All right. Who all lives in the home?
I do only.
That's normal?
I'm
A
sorry?
stick
I
built
do.
house?
Any other
No.
people besides children, anything?
No,
All right. You dating anyone?
I sure am not.
Okay. And you work like normal Monday to Friday job?
I do.
Do you work?
I can make my own hours because I'm my own boss.
Okay. And you're an occupational therapist, I think?
That's correct.
Okay. Work in Swainsboro?
I do.
All right. What's your normal hours? I know you make your own hours, but how's your normal week?
Depends on how many patients I have. I can go in there daily. Two or three could be sent to the hospital. One could have had a stroke. I go in there. I might have 10 or 15. It depends every day.
It sure is.
Kelly, can I get some water, please?
May I give her some water? Y'all?
Please.
All right, that would make more sense. I might have heard it wrong.
All right. Child support. You're ordered to currently pay how much a month?
Why are we on child support? That's handled through the child support recovery unit.
Ms. Thomas, please answer the question.
Do I do what now?
Please answer the question.
Okay, what was the question?
You're ordered to pay child support, correct?
Correct.
How much is that per month?
I'm thinking 520.
Does it come
That's right. It comes out of my check.
automatically?
Correct. I don't see it.
Okay. And we may have discussed this. So that's what I'm trying to clear up my recollection. You have an arrearage though, correct?
I was out for a month,
Out for a month.
not working.
Do
Yes.
you know the total amount that you're
I
behind?
don't.
Okay.
I just know they're taking extra out, which is fine with me. In fact, told them to take an extra 25 out.
What do you make? Do you get paid hourly or is it a salary?
It's based on how many patients I see.
Okay.
I
Do you
heard
know
stick.
What, your current income is?
A year?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
For the last 2.5, 3 years, probably around 55,000,
55,000.
if that.
Okay. And I assume you filed taxes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you've got those tax returns for last year?
Have I got them?
Right. Do you have your tax returns from last year?
My accountant does.
But you can get access to them.
Sure.
Okay. And you can provide those to your attorney where she can provide them.
Sure.
All right. And your most recent check stubs.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Ms. Thomas, since the last hearing, you were arrested again, correct?
Correct.
What for?
Simple battery
On whom?
on Todd's ex-wife,
Okay.
Kristen Dixon Horton. She and the stepmother made a huge page of me slandering my name and everything about all kinds of ugly things, kind of behind the keyboard bullies. And so
Defamation.
I went to her and asked her, did she have anything else to say to me after 6 months? And of course, that's all I got. But yes, I was arrested, not her. I'm guilty of it. I'm not going to say I'm not because I am.
When you say guilty of it,
A simple battery, whatever they charged me with, whatever I got arrested for, because I pushed her.
you pushed her.
That's right. I did not hit her or anything. I pushed her.
Okay. But you actually went and sought her out and found her?
I sure did not.
So
Girls gone wild.
I'm sorry. I thought
Sought her out and found her. She was in the same store. I was checking in and she was coming in.
Okay, and you confronted her.
That's correct.
Okay, so now you're currently out on two different criminal bonds, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
No, one's not criminal. It's whatever. It's two. I don't know. You tell me. You're the lawyer. Well.
You like to be on social media, correct?
Do I like to be on it? I have been on it.
Okay. You're on it quite a bit.
Okay.
I'm asking.
Not really. I have to work.
You have
But
to
when I
work.
want to go on there, I go on there.
Okay. And you know that the last standing order prohibits either party, you or Todd, from making any posts on social media regarding this case, anything. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know the date that we were in court last?
The what?
I'm asking you, do you know what date we were in court here last?
May 3rd.
May
I mean-
2nd?
May 2nd. What's May 3rd?
We have a hint, guys. Okay. May 2nd was the last time they were in court. Now I can go back and find the video and link it.
May 3rd. That's right.
I'm sorry.
I was right. May 3rd.
May 1st?
3rd.
I believe that's correct.
I was thinking it was the 2nd. Let me make sure.
It was the 3rd.
Was it? Jeez. You recognize that post?
I do.
Did you make that post?
I did.
Is that true and accurate depiction of that post?
Yes, but it's not talking about anything about Kylan.
Okay. Judge, I made to have D2-3 admitted.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. My understanding of the court's order was they were not supposed to post about Colin on Facebook. This post does not talk about Colin. It's not mentioned.
That's up for the court.
Well, I'm going to admit the exhibit. I'll admit it.
Ma'am, when did you make this post?
When?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's got the date on there.
Okay. So you made this post on May 3rd of 2024?
That has nothing to do with this case. Yes,
Okay. A mere hours after we left court that day.
mere hours.
Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're.
Show you that post. Do you recognize that post?
I just dropped the link in the description of part 1. Fozzie, when did you get here? You weren't late, were you?
I do.
Okay. Did you make that post?
I sure did.
True and accurate depiction of it?
It sure is.
Judge, I made to mark that as D24.
Any objection?
Prayers for Colin? So we can't pray for Colin?
There is, Your Honor. I object that there's been no foundation as to when this post was made to prove that it was outside of this court's order.
Mr. Bozeman?
I hadn't got to that yet. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying whether this goes to contempt or not. I mean, I think it's not only as contempt there, you know, issues with process. You called me, made this post.
It was apparently after I spoke with Colin on May 4th.
Okay. And you, that last sentence, you said, God, please stop this against Sweet Colin. What's this? Stop what?
Stop everything. My son does not deserve any of this. He deserves a life of happiness, health, and safety.
All right. Hold on just a second. Any further objection?
No, Your Honor.
I object to mother saying that. I object.
I assume this is going to be D2/4.
Is it, right, 3?
Well, no, this one doesn't have a tab.
She's got the marked exhibit. So
I see. Okay. This is just a copy. All right, very well.
I've changed it back up right like it should have been.
All right.
Ms. Thomas, since May 3rd, in which I think you testified on May 3rd that you were aware of the order the Saturday before May 3rd, that you had received a copy of it about that your visitation with Colin had been suspended and that you weren't to make posts. Is that your recollection on what you testified to on May 3rd?
About court stuff is what I assumed.
Okay.
You know, I think I can go on there and pray for my son and ask for prayers.
Okay. You've got a copy of the order though, correct?
It's in my email.
Okay.
Mr. Butler.
I'm gonna show you what's marked as exhibit D25. You recognize that?
I do.
Okay. You recall when or roundabout you posted that?
You probably have the date on it, right?
There's not a date on this one.
It's around apparently Troy Morgan's post, so not exactly sure.
It's surrounding, you even put in the comments, Courtney Morgan, his wife was arrested sometime in the 1st of June. You recall that?
Well, let me just read this again. It's been a minute.
Thank you, CJ. You're doing all my thumbnails from now on. That's it.
Where did she bury? Trying to see where she buried my.
Okay, so yeah, I remember posting that definitely.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you very much.
And I was willing to do anything to help my child.
Okay. Going back to your order, paragraph 8 of the current standing emergency order states pursuant to authority laid out in OCGA 9-11-65, subparagraph E, as well as Lacey v. Lacey, 320 Georgia App 739-752, and its progeny. The court does enjoin and restrain both parties from making posts or comments on any social media platform concerning the child, Kylan Evans here, his medical issues, this litigation, any prior litigation, or the opposing party. Ma'am, you'd agree with me here, and you made this post, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you said sometime around the 1st of June?
I'm assuming that's when it
You
was.
were making it in reference to,
If that's the date, then yes.
Thank you, Cha. Thank you.
If that's the date, yes.
Judge, I move to have D25.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Do you feel like this post is in violation of that paragraph 8 of that emergency order that I just read to you?
I don't.
Okay. You talk about your son, correct?
I can talk about my son.
Okay. And the sheriff's deputies? The incident?
Yeah, I was very upset with them, yes.
Okay.
But they're not in here. They're no part of this judicial
Okay. You mentioned,
whatever's going on.
You mentioned the
Which they
video,
need to be.
which is the part that this has been brought up in this litigation, correct?
The what?
You mentioned a video of a deputy and dad saying you ain't got no choice. Who's dad? Todd?
Yes, Todd's the dad.
Okay, so you mentioned him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Of course, the dad is Todd, right, Todd?
on the second page, you even showed a video of, it looks like a screenshot. It looks like you may have shared the whole video of Kylan sitting on some steps surrounded by law enforcement.
Well, that's not really sure why that was on there because the one I posted was him holding his head down on the side and his dad there staring at him and saying, you ain't got no choice. You have no choice. Well, he don't. He really does not have choices, does he?
Okay. And then you had a hashtag justice for Kyla.
That's right.
Just to speed this up, I'm gonna hand you a collection. I think they're all the same post. Mark these as D26. Give you some time. Should be 6, I think 6 pages there. Do you recognize those?
I do.
Is that on that same Troy Morgan thread that you previous D25?
I'm not really sure. It could have been on different ones. He posted several.
Do you personally know Troy Morgan?
I do now, yes.
Okay, but that was all after his wife got arrested
Mm-hmm.
in June. So these posts would have been after the 1st of June.
Correct, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know the exact dates when I commented on his thread.
These, obviously, I'm not admitting these for other people's hearsay. It's just your comments. That Jen D. Thomas, that's you.
Correct.
Okay. It's true and accurate depiction of those?
What are you saying?
It's a true and accurate depiction of those.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Judge,
yeah, Judge Taylor did take my rights away. I mean, that's
D26
true.
submitted.
No objection, Your Honor.
He posted trashing a judge. He took my rights away.
Submitted.
Okay. On the first one, post, you mentioned Judge Trey Taylor, correct?
Correct, because Troy said Tapley, and I said, do you mean Judge Trey Taylor instead of Tapley? Yes.
All right.
Because he is also the judge that has completely deemed me from seeing my son when my son ran away to be with me.
Okay. Do you not think that concerns any of those people or issues addressed in
Thank you,
paragraph 8,
misconduct.
precluding you from posting on Facebook?
You know, I'm not a judge. You're a lawyer and he can judge it. I said what I needed to say because I felt that way.
Ma'am, do you just air your whole personal life out on
I
Facebook?
sure don't.
You don't?
No, but when it concerns my son and me wanting my rights returned, yes.
Okay. Then the second page of that first, we'll just go in page. The second page, you mentioned judge again, correct? And I think there's a clear screenshot of it on the third page. On that second post, you mentioned the judge again, who's completely took away your rights.
Thank you,
Then you
Carrie.
mention, and I'm doing my best along with others to straighten this mess out before my son dies in the hands of them all. Who's the hands of them all?
Everybody that's causing his depression and trying to dope him up so he can think some other way. Anyone that does that kind of things to him, he's depressed and he doesn't deserve to
Thank
go
you
through
for
this. He really
reminding me.
doesn't.
Well, you say the hands of them all. I'm asking you, this is your chance. Who?
Well, if you're part of it,
Asked an answer. He asked the question, she answered it. Just asked an
Judge,
answer.
I'm asking for detail. Is she talking about, and I can rephrase it. Are you talking about
Overruled.
law enforcement officials?
Your Honor, are we going to get a ruling on my objection?
I said overruled.
I couldn't hear you because Mr. Bozeman started asking a question.
so overall, do I need to answer or what?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm meaning is anybody that hurts my child,
I'm sorry.
anybody that physically or mentally hurts my child. I'm not giving specifics because there's many that does it.
And I'm asking you, who has done it?
I've never said anyone. Okay. And I'm doing my best along with others to straighten this mess out before my son dies in the hands of all of them. Or them all. Before.
Ma'am,
He can only take so much of a head trauma and knocked down and wrestled by cops and everything else, or hand choked by his dad, if you want to know the truth.
Okay.
Or jumped on top of his body while he's in bed, and his dad has his legs on top of his arms stuffing drugs into his body. Since you want to get specific, that is what I mean.
Okay. What about law enforcement?
Law enforcement as well. I've already met with Sheriff Dean personally right after that happened. He himself said that could have been handled in a different matter.
Okay.
My son does not deserve to be knocked down on the ground because he wants me. He does not deserve it at all. He has a traumatic brain injury, and that's just could be actually damaging him more in some cases.
I'm going to hand you what's marked.
He's getting mental, physical, and
Hey,
emotional abuse.
Miss Thomas, when Mr. Bozeman starts
I'm
a new
sorry.
line,
I'm going to hand you what's marked D27.
Mr. Bozeman, hold on. Let me finish what I was going to say because she cut me off too. When Mr. Bozeman starts a new line of questioning, please don't overspeak him. Allow him to answer his question, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
I handed you a picture document that's marked D2. It's a D2-7. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay. Did you make that post?
I did.
June 13th?
I did.
Okay. And does that accurately depict what you posted?
Yes.
D2-7.
Have you seen it?
I'm going to object, Your Honor, just like the rest of them. She admits they're her post, but there's no proof of the date.
She just testified that it was on or about.
Yeah,
And what-
she's looking at the date on this piece of paper, which is not the date of the post. This is the date on this piece of paper, and I don't know that she understands that. These are screenshots that someone took of their phone.
yeah.
So this is the time and date stamp for whoever's phone was used to screenshot things.
Well, I mean, I I don't know that all I'm going on is what she testified to. I haven't seen it.
I
either.
understand.
So over.
I didn't understand that.
Ms. Thomas, there. You even posted in this one, so we know it's after the court order, because you even, the second paragraph, why I'm ordered to keep silent.
Okay, so I have been. I mean, is that a question or what?
Thank you, Monica. Thank you.
Is there a question, Mr. Bozeman?
I'm sorry.
I think the witness was confused as to whether or not that was in the form of a question.
The second paragraph, read it, it's just one sentence.
I've read it.
Are you asking her to read it out loud?
Read it into the record.
While I'm ordered to keep silent, just reminded of that.
Okay. Then you go on to say that you won't ever state the next paragraph that you're silently fighting. Would you call posting on Facebook silently fighting?
Well, I am silently fighting as well. I mean, I don't get your question. I posted this if that's what you wanted to know.
Okay. I'll hand you what's marked. D2-8. You recognize that post?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. You made that post on
I did.
on June 13th?
I don't know about June 13th, but
You made that post after May 2nd, though, did
I did.
you? True and accurate depiction of it?
It definitely is.
Need to have D2-8 admitted.
No
Yep.
objection.
Admitted.
What are you referring to here in this post?
Let me just see. The same as I've always referred to. Kylan does not deserve any of this at all.
What do you mean, deserve this? What is this?
Do you see them holding his head down?
Ms. Thomas, please just answer the question, okay?
Do what now? What's the question?
What is this? You just said he doesn't deserve this. I'm asking you to define what this is.
The pain, the emotional, the physical abuse. So
Okay, but this your profile picture? It says Save Kylan?
no, it
No.
was.
It was?
hmm
Okay. You've since shut your Facebook down yesterday, correct?
That's correct.
Few more. Show you what's marked as D2-9. You recognize that? Recognize that post?
I do.
Okay. Made this after May 3rd?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
You went on to give a pretty good bit of detail about this, what's going on with Kylan. You'd agree?
As far as from March 2023 to here,
In this post.
I didn't. March 2023 to here, I didn't. To up to now, no.
Okay.
This was talking about his accident and everything.
I may have had D2. No,
Objection.
No, Your Honor.
you just said before March.
It's
You
admitted.
got pictures posted below the post of incidents that's just recently happened, correct?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And you even went into detail about Kylan. You're saying he was in a mental institution, and that he had run away from his dad's. This is the 6th time. Is that correct? And you said all that?
Oh, yes.
Then
Mhm.
straighten this county out because it's a buddy system.
Yes,
Do you believe that?
I do believe it. Something's going wrong.
You don't think it has anything to do with you?
I guess so. I guess it's all me.
Ma'am, that's a yes or no question.
Yes, yes, it's me.
To speed this up, I'm gonna show you a series versus Mark D2-10. Obviously not concerned with other people commenting, just what's under your comments. Do you recognize those?
Do I recognize the other people's comments in mine?
I'm not concerned about other people's. I'm just concerned about yours. Do you recognize your post?
I did. I do, yes. Definitely need to pray for some angry hearts.
You made these posts on July 10th.
I'm not sure.
Okay. You make them in July.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure because you post so much stuff on Facebook, it's hard to keep up with it?
I don't keep up with it.
Okay.
I just post.
Well, let's flip to the second page. Do you know if you made these posts after May 3rd?
Let me just see. I'm really not sure what the date was.
Okay.
But if you screenshotted them, couldn't you tell me the date?
I'll tell you the easiest way to find out. You got your cell phone with you?
I'm not on Facebook anymore.
Ma'am, do you have your cell phone with
I do.
you? Judge, I'd ask that she pull up Facebook, relog back in, and allow the court to see that. Will clear up that from when these posts were made. There's no doubt about it.
No, she can't be forced to do that.
In fact, when you,
She can't be forced.
The court's got jurisdiction over.
We're not, I don't need to do that. We don't need to do that.
Okay. Third page. You stated Lawrence County, see how angry this man is just because I have rights to talk to my son each day. So that was after the last court order. You agree?
I agree.
Maybe have D2-10 admitted, Judge.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. It's admitted.
Okay, you got 2 left, Judge.
Hi, Amanda.
I'll show you what's marked D2-11. You recognize that?
Jody, hi.
I do. I did post it.
July 12th.
I'm not sure what date, but I did post it and I do recognize it.
Okay. Was it in July?
It's after May 3rd.
Ma'am, if you answer the question.
I'm not sure what date it is.
So you don't know what happened around 10 days ago?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
It's asked and answered.
Judge, I think that's a legitimate question. That's separate from the other.
She stated that it's been since May 3rd since she posted it, but she doesn't remember when she did it. She doesn't remember if it was in July.
Thank you, legal.
If you have any different questions other than that to help establish the time frame, then you can ask.
Well, and I you know, I can clear that up with one of my other witnesses.
All right.
But it was clearly, you said after May 3rd, I moved to, is this true and accurate depiction of that post?
It is.
Okay. Moved to have D2-11 admitted, Judge.
All right. Any objection?
I mean, is this Mr. President, if you could just hold that up, or is this what you're talking about? Okay, no objection.
All right. It's admitted.
You discussed, you said at the start that this has nothing to do with our litigation, everything to do with his life and living, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You went on to talk about your son, Kylan, correct?
I did.
Okay. And you said you don't care who sees or knows this. All y'all involved with keeping my son away from me can rot.
That's what it says.
Okay. Do you,
Because he was so depressed and just crying and upset. I mean, you know, enough's enough on that child.
and Judge, never mind, I'll just clean it up, get done. Who, when you refer to all y'all involved with keeping my son away from me, in your mind, who is keeping your son away from you?
In my mind, the stepmother and dad has always done it since 2021. Previous to that, I had him every other weekend with no problems getting him when I wanted to.
Okay. Well, see, I'm gonna show you what's smart.
And 8 years, I even raised him on my own.
I'm gonna show you what's smart. D2-12, and it probably should have just been behind D2-11, but you've got a short comment under that same post, like a response. Do you recognize that?
Thank you, misconduct. Thank you. Thank you. This is a custody case between
Yes,
dad and
I
mom.
do. And he is, in my mind and heart, is being held hostage by them. If so, why would he, if not, why would he run away all the time and wanting his mom? I'm not an unfit mom. He loves me and I love him.
That's quite a few posts you've made regarding Kylan, law enforcement, the judge. since May 3rd. Wouldn't you agree?
But what has it got to do? Maybe there's a couple with that, but yes, I agree.
Okay. And you currently are not on Facebook, right? You shut it down?
For the moment.
Why?
Just had to take a break.
You can't just take a break by not posting and just not signing on?
I'll do it
Objection,
my
Your Honor.
way.
Overruled.
What's that?
You cannot just take a break by not posting on Facebook, not signing on to it to see?
No,
You can't.
no.
Is there anything you're on that Facebook that you're not wanting anybody to see here today?
No.
Okay. You still have access to that Facebook?
I do.
Okay. And if those records are subpoenaed, you can provide those to your attorney?
What records?
Your Facebook records?
Sure.
Okay. Have you deleted anything off of there?
I sure haven't.
Okay. Just making sure I don't have anything else, Judge. Anything you think of? This isn't the first time that a court has banned you from posting about Kylan on Facebook, is it?
I'm not sure.
Back when
It's been-
Kylan was in the hospital immediately after his wreck in a coma in Eggleston, did Judge Helton refrain?
I put a picture of Kylan on there, and the family didn't want it on there. The dad didn't want it on there, but then I've got another picture that was sent to me where he sent it to his girlfriend. Her name's Mel.
Your Honor, I would ask that the witness be allowed to finish her answer.
She hasn't responded to my question. My question was, is Judge
All
Helton?
right, hold on. Ben, Mr. Bozeman, please let Ms. Devaney finish her objection before you start back in on it.
I agree, David.
All right. Your objection.
My objection is she was asked a question. She was in the middle of answering it, and Mr. Bozeman cut her off to begin to ask another one.
Sorry, go ahead.
She is allowed to complete her answer, and I would ask the court to allow her to complete her answer.
I will absolutely allow her to complete her answer. What this witness has a habit of doing is going beyond the bounds of answering the question to provide additional testimony that's not been
It's not responsible.
asked for. It's non-responsive.
Your
And
Honor,
I've cautioned her multiple times to stay within the bounds. I've tried to be polite about it. I will allow her to answer her questions and to respond, okay?
And Your Honor, I haven't heard you today tell her to please kind of focus and stay on track. But certainly if that's, I don't have a problem with that. My problem is her being interrupted by counsel.
Well, I agree, but what I cautioned her about was interrupting Mr. Bozeman. So I think
And
there's,
I didn't say a word about that.
all right, there's been plenty of that. So Ms. Thomas, please try to be responsive to the questions. You can fully explain your answers to the extent that you need to, but please make sure that your answers are responsive to his questions, okay?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Just yes or no then?
No,
Is
ma'am,
that-
you can explain your answers, but please make sure that they are responsive to the line of questioning, okay?
Ms. Thomas, this isn't the first time you've been court ordered not to post on Facebook regarding Kylan, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And even before this, Judge Taylor ordered the parties not to post back in the end of April. You posted on Facebook, and I'm not saying you weren't ordered not to then, but you posted on Facebook a good bit about your son, Kylan.
I'll always post about Kylan.
Okay.
But I've decided to, well, let me hush.
Had this wreck, I do remember this wreck, have you filed a personal injury lawsuit on the behalf of Kylan?
I have.
Okay, Mitch Shook's handling that?
Correct.
Okay, I want to make the court aware of that. If there is any settlement to be dealt with, I filed the necessary stuff. Is that action still pending?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from them.
Okay. Judge, at this point, I think,
All right. Do you have any? All right, so you're done with your cross. All right. It's admitted. Was there no?
That's the one I handed you, Judge. Here's D23.
No. Yeah.
I moved to admit D212 if we did.
All right.
I thought you did.
All right. Was there any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted. Redirect.
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Why don't, it's 12:45, but what I'm trying to do is, I know everybody's hungry and probably wants a break, but what I'm trying to do is get through with Ms. Thomas's testimony so that we can move forward with our hearing instead of tending to get bogged down with, what is obviously a very important line of questioning. So why don't you do your redirect and let's take a break after that, okay? I certainly don't mean to cut you off, but.
I just didn't know if we may, and you tell me, I'm just throwing this out here as a thought process. I think we may have one or two people on Zoom. I didn't know, and you may not know the time to tell them to come back. I don't. I mean, my advice would just be for you as the person that called them to text them, let them know that just be on standby and this link will be open and they can log back on. I think all of them are.
Okay.
Ready, Your Honor?
Please proceed.
Ms. Thomas. I don't have the number, so this is the one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Judge, I apologize. I didn't mark each of mine with the defendant's number.
I want to say it's 11.
Yeah, it's the last page of 11.
All right, I've got it.
How many of you recognize that?
I do.
And did you post a screenshot to that page?
Yes, I did.
And that screenshot is of what?
Of Kylan's dad, Todd.
Is that a conversation between you and Mr. Evans?
Correct.
And by reading through those messages between the two of you, do you know when that conversation took place?
Well, I guess it was around 7:41 p.m.
You don't have to give me the time and date. You know what was going on.
What was going on?
The time the two of you had that conversation.
Well, I could never, I had the rights to have a call with him daily, but there was several, probably over 30 days or so, because it's been almost 3 months since I've actually saw my child, that I could, there's been, I know at least 30 or more times I've got it recorded, that he was not available or he didn't answer, or when he did, I got cussed out or whatever.
Okay, so this conversation right here, was it regarding your request to speak with him?
Correct.
And his response to you was what?
I said, have Colin call me. He with Daddy. He didn't answer, so have him to have Colin call me. I done told you where he at. Now stop calling my damn phone. Fuck you. And if you want a fucking call, he would. Or if he wanted, I think he meant if he wanted to effing call, but he would. So shut the fuck up and stop calling my fucking phone. Okay.
Since the last court hearing, to your knowledge, does Colin personally have the phone on which you can contact him?
No.
If you want to contact him, how do you have to do it?
Through Todd.
I don't want to.
Okay.
All right. Now, since our last court hearing, I want to take your attention to one of the times when Colin left his dad's house at night and came to yours, okay?
Okay.
All right. And I think this is the last time that he left his dad's and came to your house. All right. During that time when he was with you before he went back to his dad's house, did Colin threaten to kill himself?
If he had to go back to their house, yes.
So
to
he
his
did threaten to
dad's.
kill himself?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. And you and he had a conversation about that.
we did.
Now, that night, I believe you took Colin to the sheriff's department or the police department.
Well, I actually called them, and they met us at my sister's house, Rachel.
All right. So they picked him up from there and
That's correct.
took him back. Okay. And this was, what time of day was this?
It was around, I want to say 12:30, going on to 1 a.m. in the morning.
Okay. So at night. All right. So then he went, I guess it's safe to say what, by 2 in the morning, Colin was gone from your house, from your sister's house. He was gone and
Yes, somewhere around there.
the next day, did you try to talk with Colin?
I did.
Were you able to talk with him?
No, I was not.
Now, and this is the day after that Colin's been with you and he's told you he's going to kill himself.
Correct.
Okay. And why didn't you speak with Colin the next day?
Just wasn't allowed. I
when you
called.
Hold on. Let me narrow this down for you. When you say you weren't allowed, is that because, I don't know, the phone was shut off? No one answered the phone when you called? Did someone answer the phone and go, nope, not going to talk to you? Exactly how could you not speak with him?
Well, the phone was not cut off. If I remember correctly, I could not, no one would answer. Todd would not answer his phone for a while, and I tried to call, and they finally, I don't know if he sent a message or anything, but either way, I could not talk to Colin that day. I'd have to look exactly back at my record, but I can get that.
Was Colin hospitalized after that event?
Not this last time, no.
Last time. All right. The time before, when he ran away from his dad's to come see you, was he hospitalized after that?
Correct.
Do you know how long he was hospitalized?
Around 7. Well, I really don't know because I just don't know. They didn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me anything.
So during the time when Colin was hospitalized, did Mr. Evans ever, either through a phone call, a text message, or an email, did he ever reach out to you to let you know where Colin was, what his situation was, what the prognosis was, what was being done, or anything?
No.
Did you attempt to contact him?
I did.
All right. And did you get any response from your attempts? All right. Did you reach out to the facility that you understood Colin to be at?
Several times.
Were you given any information by that facility?
They just told me I would have to go through Todd to get anything when I do have medical rights, but they would not even let me. I tried to send the medical record or the papers down there that said I had rights, but I still couldn't get through to him.
So they didn't provide you any information either.
No, and I can say afterwards, I talked to Kyle and he said, Mama, I did try to call you, but they would not let me.
And was that from the hospital
Mhm.
where he said he tried to call you?
And he
wasn't
didn't
allowed?
say because his dad told him not to.
So during Kylan's hospitalization, did you talk to anybody?
No,
You given any information
No.
about how he was?
no,
Since his hospitalization, have you been given any information about his well-being
no,
from anybody?
nope.
Have you been provided with who his doctors were or how to contact them or anything else? Did you ask when Kylan was in the hospital? Did you reach out to Mr. Evans and inquire?
I have.
Did he ever tell you anything about
They
Kylan?
don't never tell me anything about Kyle.
All right. Now, let's say that your in-person visits have been suspended for going on about 3 months.
Correct.
So you haven't seen, other than the times that Kylan ran away and come to see you, you haven't seen him
Correct.
other than those times.
Correct.
Now, if you had to give the judge a percentage of, let's say you called X amount of times to Mr. Evans to speak with Colin, what's the percentage of times you think you actually got to speak with Colin?
Within the last 3 months,
Yes. Since your visits have been suspended.
about 40, 45.
So 40 to 45% of the time is how much you've been able to speak with Colin on the phone.
Correct.
From the number of times that you actually attempted to speak with him.
That's correct.
And again, Judge, I'm sorry, I didn't label all of my one copies. I don't know which exhibit this is.
I would say that's 10, I believe. I think.
You can look at Defendant's 10. You recognize that?
I do.
And those 2 pictures that are attached to that Facebook post, did you attach those pictures?
I did.
Where did those pictures come from?
It was a Christmas gift. I don't know.
From my phone. Well, the first one come from my phone whenever he was going into the mental health facility after he was being handled at school because he wanted me.
And that picture there, what happened in that picture? Did that take place before or after May the 3rd of this year?
Oh, after.
After May the 3rd?
Correct.
You haven't seen that one since May the 3rd.
No.
Okay, so. the
Wait,
picture-
okay, I'm sorry. Before, I got confused. It was before, yes.
So the next picture, where did that come from?
That was at my nephew's house. It was the first time he actually drove the ATV. No, excuse me, the second time he actually
And
drove
is
the
this that same
ATV.
picture?
Correct.
Okay. Now, so this picture was taken, you said, at your nephew's house?
Yes, it was on a Ring camera.
Okay. So this that we're seeing, and let me ask you this. So was this one of the occasions when Colin ran away from home to come to see you?
Correct.
Okay. And were you present when this took place?
No, I wasn't.
Where were you at?
I was at work.
So when Colin got there and you weren't home, did he go next door to other family's house?
Correct.
All right. And so this picture was taken as part of a security system at your nephew's house
Correct.
of this incident. All right. And to your understanding and from seeing this, what happened to Colin this day?
He was taken by them to the hospital and apparently given some things to calm him down. I've heard Valium, but I'm not really sure what they give him at the hospital. And then he was sent to a mental hospital.
And did you get that?
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt. He has got a bathroom emergency.
I gotta
If we can,
All right,
if he can run just for a second.
just hit pause for a second. Is there anybody else that needs a short restroom break? Miss Powell, are you okay? Would you like 5 minutes? All right, let's take a 5-minute break, all right? I'm
You
sorry.
need it.
I tend to just forget that people are people, so. And need breaks. I just would much rather go there or Jekyll than the park to McCray, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
That golf course is pretty good though, the one in McCray.
Never played it. The food used to be good.
All right, we got everybody. We ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
Thank you, Judge. All right. We're still looking at this picture right here, okay? Now, in that picture, is Colin being restrained by deputies?
Is he being
Is he being restrained by deputies?
around that? You want me to just look at this one or just get the other one?
Well, this is the same picture.
Yeah.
It should be the same picture
Okay, yeah.
that you have. So we're looking at this one.
He is,
All right. And they're what? Holding his head down on the porch?
correct.
Right. And what, if anything, that you're aware of, did Colin do this day to be restrained on this porch by these deputies?
Not that I'm aware of.
Was he under arrest for anything?
No,
Had he committed any crimes?
no,
So he'd done nothing that you know of
nothing that I know of.
that would have precipitated him being held down by these 4 deputies on the deck of your nephew's house, right?
That's right.
This was hard for you to see, wasn't it?
Very hard.
And the reason that Colin was there was because he wanted to see you,
That's right.
isn't it? Now, with your current job, how long have you worked there?
Almost 11 years.
I think he's like 15. He's somewhere around 15.
Correct.
Up until this case that just started and the warrant that was issued for you when you took Colin on vacation with you, have you ever been arrested before
No,
in your life? How old are you?
I'm 53.
53. So I've never been arrested at 53.
So 15.
All right. The home that you live in, you said it's an RV?
Correct.
Is that a 2-bedroom?
It's 2-bedroom.
And does anyone live there other than you at the present time?
No,
I'm not going to say to your knowledge, has DFAX ever been to any home that you've ever lived in?
one in Swainsboro.
Okay. And when was that?
When I was actually in the process of moving, that was in September, October
Of what
of
year?
2022.
Of 2022. All right. So someone in DFAX said they got a call and they called you.
Right,
They came out to your house,
correct.
looked around. Did you ever hear from them again?
No,
So other than that, you've never had any dealings with DFAX?
not as far as coming out to my house or anything, not that I know.
Well,
no.
I mean,
No.
any other dealings? Have you ever had any dealings with DFAX?
No.
All right. And Colin's not your only child, is he?
No,
No. How many other children do you have?
I have 2 more.
2 more. Okay. And never had any DFAX involvement?
No,
Now, have there been times other than or prior to May the 3rd that you wanted to visit with Colin and Mr. Evans would not let you?
oh yes, definitely.
And last year, I don't know that, I heard some different times here. So last year, what months did Colin live with you?
From October to January.
Okay. And I'm just going to assume, but we know that's never a good idea. I'm going to assume that that was with the consent of Mr. Evans.
He never asked for him back.
Okay. So, I mean,
He was fine.
Colin's there living with you October, November, December into January.
Correct.
And so never come to get him, no phone calls.
We got conversations where he would ask me, "Are you picking up Colin today, or what's the deal?" And I've got him, and nothing. We never fussed or anything like that about.
So during that time when Colin was living with you, did he go and visit his dad?
Yeah.
So no problems
No.
with that. All right. Since January of this year, when Colin went back to live with his dad, has there been any changes in your life?
I mean,
New boyfriends, old boyfriends, moved? Did you start doing drugs? Has defects? Has there been any major changes in your life at all?
no.
Okay. So where you're living now, is that where you were living
Correct.
last October?
Yes.
Last November?
Yes.
Last December?
Yes.
In January?
Yes.
Same place. Same place that Colin lived with you
Correct.
at?
Mhm.
Now, when Colin was living with you, he was in school, right?
Correct.
Okay, so went to school, no problems.
No problem.
So neither you nor Mr. Evans ever got wrote up or defects brought in because Colin wasn't going to school.
No.
That never happened, did it?
No.
Colin went to school. Did he pass the
Oh,
end of the
yeah.
year?
Yeah.
You okay?
He was actually improving.
So no problem with that.
May I ask a question for clarification? Just want to make sure. The periods of time that we're talking about when the child was residing with the mother was October, November, December, and January of 24, correct?
Yes, sir.
So just immediately received. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mhm. Now, you heard I can't remember her name, Dr. Dodson this morning. You heard her testimony, right?
Correct.
So, I know this may sound stupid since Colin was just living with you, but if custody of Colin was given to you, you don't have any problems being able to take care of him, do you?
No, not at all.
Even with work and all of those things, you can.
Not at all.
You can get him to school, which you did
Correct.
just last year, got him to school. So that's not going to be a problem for you, is it?
No,
Meeting his needs won't be a problem. for
no.
you. All right. Now, when Colin lived with you, he had a cell phone, right?
Yes,
You said you had bought him 3 cell phones.
yes,
Did you ever restrict his ability to call his dad
no,
on that phone? So you allowed Colin to have open communication with,
yes, and his grandparents.
Time he chose.
Mhm, yes.
no problems with that. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any recross?
Just shortly, just real, not too long. All right. What would you call reasonable phone contact? In your own opinion?
Reasonable contact. Well, I was, from what the papers say, I was allowed once a day.
Okay.
So I would think that would be reasonable, yes.
Would you calling somebody multiple times back to back, 15, 20, 30 times in a single day reasonable?
Well, I'm not getting an answer
I'm asking you, do you call that reasonable?
when I don't talk to my son. I did that once,
Okay.
yes.
So you called Todd how many times in one day?
I'm not, probably 30 or 40.
Okay.
And I never still was able to talk to him.
All right. And then you mentioned
That was
About-
once.
this there's a video where Kylan's threatened to harm himself, kill himself.
Mhm.
You aware of that video?
I am.
Okay. When was it recorded?
It was recorded the last time he ran away.
I'm sorry.
The The last time he ran away,
Where at?
well, from his home, Todd's home, to find me.
I'm sorry?
When he ran away from Todd's home to find me at around 12 midnight,
He recorded that at your home?
it was recorded. There were several recordings.
Ma'am, I'm just asking you, you just said you know the video I'm talking of. Where was that video recorded?
My sisters.
Okay, you were present?
Yes.
Who was holding the phone while Kylan was speaking? Because in that video, he's sitting far back on the couch.
Okay, so I was in the bathroom when my sister recorded that.
Okay.
I didn't even know they were doing it.
Okay, you were aware that she recorded that?
Afterwards, yes.
How long afterwards?
Maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. And she posted that on Facebook, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you have any knowledge of that she was going to post it beforehand?
I mean, what she posts is her own thing.
Okay.
I can't stop her.
All right. What was your response when you realized she posted it?
I didn't really care.
You don't care?
No, I want people to know how Kylan's feelings are. I mean, what he actually wants. You know, he has a right. He has a voice also. But I didn't tell her to post it. She posted it on her own.
Do you think that it's okay for an adult to even entertain, just much less video, a child threatening of harming herself? Do you think that's okay?
Entertain it?
Yes. Do you think that's okay?
No.
Okay. So you don't think what your sister did, video and Kylan, that day was okay?
See, you're asking me two different questions.
I'm asking you.
You're asking the video versus him harming himself. I don't think harming himself or even thinking about that is okay.
That's
The
not my
video
question.
was theirs.
That's clear. Do you think that an adult videoing a child, with that child sitting there with a video while the child's threatening to harm himself, do you think that it's okay to video a child in that situation?
Kylan,
I'm going to object at this time because I've never seen this video. So if it exists, I'd like to see it. I have never seen a visual audio video.
Her own client was tagged on Facebook in the video. She had access to
You
it.
two are clearly not on the same page.
Apparently
about the
not.
videos. The video that her sister took
is not
is
saying.
is different from the audio
Right.
of Kylan threatening to kill himself.
Right.
They are not the same thing. These two people are not on the same page with what they're
Okay,
talking about.
you're right. That's not, my sister didn't do that. Kylan actually won't. Well,
When was that taken? Was that?
So you've made an objection because you've not seen the video?
I honestly made an objection just to kind of hurry this along
All
yeah.
right.
because there's the video that you were tagged in. Kylan doesn't talk about hurting himself in that, and that is the video that was made
That's
by
not the
Ms.
video I'm
Thomas's
talking
sister.
Okay. Well,
Well, then,
then I think perhaps the question you're asking is not the way that she's understanding it. All right. So objection sustained. Just re-ask the question so maybe we can all get on the same page.
There is a video of Kylan sitting on a couch where he's threatening to kill himself, correct?
No.
What's in that video?
He asked my sister, could she record him pleading to people about his wants?
Okay. But there's another audio or video with him threatening to hurt himself, correct?
Oh, yes, we were talking.
And that's the one that your sister recorded.
No,
Who recorded that?
I did.
Okay. Where was he at when he recorded that?
He was with me, riding with me. I picked him up because he was walking from his dad's house at midnight in a neighborhood.
Whose phone did he record that on?
Whose phone is it recorded on? Mine.
Your phone. And that was here just as this last time where he
Yes.
was picked up.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think as a parent that that's okay to allow to happen for him to video talking about killing himself or audio, record audio?
He did not do that. We were in a conversation on our way to my sister's home where I would feel safe calling the law in case Todd showed up. And it was a recorded, how are you doing? How's things been going? He knew about it.
Why was
And
that recorded?
why is anything recorded? I mean, because I wanted his voice heard. I wanted Colin's voice heard.
Okay. Did you post that audio on Facebook?
Not to my knowledge, I didn't post that one. No.
Okay. How did that circulate? How did it leave you and get out to other people?
I'm not really sure. Now my best friends have it.
Okay. So you sent that out from your phone?
To my best friends, yeah.
Okay. Did you send that out to anybody else other than your best friends?
My lawyer.
Okay. But you saying you did not post that audio?
I did not.
Okay. All right. The night that Colin, this last time where he was knocking on doors, at the time that Miss Thomas was the lady that contacted you, correct? About Colin knocking on her door.
I'm not really sure what her name is.
Okay. But you were contacted by a lady. that
That's
said
correct.
Colin. Thank you. At that point, what did you tell her?
I told her I'd meet her to get him.
Okay. Did you call Todd?
Thank
and let
you,
him
Ms.
know that
Conduct.
Colin
Thank
was
you.
out?
I called the law
You called the law immediately?
immediately.
Okay. What time did you call the law?
I'm not even sure what time I picked him up. I just know it was after midnight.
Okay. All right. That's all, Judge.
All right. You good?
I have one question.
All right.
The day
Please, one.
that the day that you called Mr. Evans 20 or 30 times, was that the day after that Colin had threatened to kill himself?
Yes,
Is that why you called so many
that's
times?
correct.
That's all, Judge.
All right.
No.
All right. You can step down, ma'am. We're in recess until 2:30. They'll be back. They'll be back here to take everybody's urine sample at 2:30.
I don't know that I have. I've got Neil's number, but I don't see Miss Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, that shows the participants. Somebody was on there earlier this morning.
That's the question, Todd. So if you want to know the end of the hearing, then you have to watch. I'm going to post another link in chat of like 2 days ago. And that was the end of this hearing, like his verdict, just for this hearing. It's still, the case is still going on. So these are just the witnesses that were called today was for here. And then, I don't know, in 2 weeks or a month or whatever, then they'll have the next set of witnesses. I don't know how much longer this is going to go on, but right now, Dad keeps custody, Mom gets visitation. And they get yelled at a little bit in the video that was 2 days ago, which is after this, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, it's fine. You watch Star Wars, you understand prequels and sequels. All right, so we left 15 minutes of Judge Fleischer on the table on Wednesday that we didn't see. And I told you I was going to play it today. It was only 15 minutes. I thought it was a lot more than that. So here we go. No, Linus, that's not well.
You need the cause number again. Or do you guys have the cause number handy by chance? No? No one?
2520035. Sorry, I think
Right.
that even his.
Good job.
That might be
That's
the
it.
felony.
Did you get it, Victoria? Okay. Tracy?
had the other one before.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hinojosa. You were charged with driving while intoxicated. You're also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. On the DWI, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. On the gun case, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during any questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir. Okay.
On July 15th, 2024, the officers observed the defendant get in the driver's seat of a vehicle along with 3 passengers. The defendant was observed to drive out and exit the parking lot of a bar without signaling his turn. Defendant began traveling eastbound on the 53rd 100th block of Washington Avenue. Officers were assisted by 59 Fox, who advised they had eyes on the vehicle and stated the defendant was driving at a high rate of speed, weaving through traffic on Washington Avenue. Officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop. A vehicle pursuit ensued. Officers attempted to stop the vehicle as it was stopped behind a stalled train, and the defendant's vehicle fled. The defendant continued evading from officers at a high rate of speed that reached 80 miles per hour. The vehicle lost control, and pursuing units boxed in the vehicle and began giving verbal commands. The total pursuit was about 3 miles, and upon inventorying the defendant's vehicle, officers located a Glock 2340 caliber loaded in plain view on the floorboard of the passenger side. The firearm was loaded with an extended magazine and was loaded with 1 round in the chamber. The firearm was not in a holster. Officers spoke with the defendant and observed a strong odor of alcohol on the breath, slurred speech, and glossy eyes. Standard field sobriety test was conducted. HGN was a 6 of 6, walk and turn was a 6 of 8, and the 1 leg stand was a 2 of 4.
So, real quick, on my description of this video, I have part 1, and then I have this video as part 2, and then I have a previous video as part 3. The links are right there.
C was read, breath was refused, and a blood warrant was executed and blood was drawn.
What about the second evading? Because he's charged with 2 counts of evading.
The second arose out of this incident, and then
that's Elise talking right now. Yes, Fozzie, Elise.
First was from the day before, and I can read pieces.
The day before he evaded, they didn't catch him. That's why the Flock 59 helicopter was following him, because they knew he was going to evade again.
Got it. All right, Mr. Hinojosa, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have a driver's license? Then you are not allowed to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what you need. I don't care if there's a little kitten that needs to go to the hospital. You drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. Do you understand?
Sure.
I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you consume alcohol and kind of dope, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. I'm going to tell you now, I will do everything in my power to protect every single person of Harris County. And if that means making your bonds 30 to 50,000, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand? All I want are my streets to be safe. Every day, someone dies from a boneheaded move that they get into a car and drive like a complete. If you don't believe me, watch the news. Every single day. I'm not going to allow it on my watch. Do you understand?
Sure.
Mr. Morgan, who is in the 337th?
Judge Guido.
What conditions do they have on you upstairs in the felony court, Mr. Hinojosa?
Breathalyzer machine.
Do you have a portable device? What else are your conditions?
Curfew.
Oh, is it the first or the second one that you're looking at? I was looking at the first one.
I would be very careful and I would adhere to those conditions. Because when you don't, all that happens are your bonds get revoked, they get doubled, they get tripled, and all you do is enrich bonding companies to try to get out. You are expected to live in a certain fashion, in a certain way. And when you don't, we have 6x9s ready for you. People say that there's a lot of overcrowding. It's not. There's room. But don't give them an excuse. Follow these conditions. Do you understand? You have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Morgan. If he comes back to me and tells me that you're playing games, that you're not responding to phone calls, text messages, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. So, no dope, no alcohol, no driving, and stay in contact with Mr. Morgan. Give any questions? Okay, we'll have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, we'll get you to Victoria, and then after that, you'll get with Tracy for bond condition.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. So I will reinstate the bond now, okay? And then we'll just let him go.
Sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, so we'll waive the appearance for the next foreseeable future. Yeah.
Mr. Victor Sanchez.
Yes, sir. All right. Good morning, Mr. Sanchez.
Morning, sir.
Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 180 days in jail to be probated for 15 months. As part of that, you will do a repeat offender DWI education class, 2 victim impact panels. You will do a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions like outpatient treatment of some sort, whether it's standard, or whether it's high outpatient treatment, you must fulfill those conditions as well. You will do substance abuse treatment, no drugs, no alcohol. You must have a guardian interlock and no breath test refusal, meaning that if you were in a car pulled over and an officer asks you to submit a breath sample, you must do it. You understand?
Sure.
As part of this agreement, well, this is also a DWI second. I am going to suspend your license for a year because it's a second offense. You now have 2 DWIs on your record. How old are you? 27, 28?
33.
33 years old. And you now have 2 DWIs. What happens on your next one?
Felony, prison, 2 to 10, second degree.
That's right. All that has to happen is that you have the smell of alcohol. They don't care if you're drunk. They don't care if you're high. The smell alone will be enough for them to take you out and charge you with a felony offense. Have you been to prison before?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now you're looking at a 15 to life. You've been to prison 2 times.
Yes.
You'll be a true habitual. 25 to life. You pick up another DWI. 25 minimum if you pick up another DWI.
Yes, sir.
And all that has to happen, the smell. Just the faintest smell of alcohol, you're looking at a minimum of 25 years. If I were you, I would never, ever get in a car, even if you've had half of a sip of a beer, because you're looking at a boatload of time. And I'm telling you now.
Excuse me, Judge. Nobody takes half of a sip of a beer. That's offensive. No.
You pick up a true habitual case, the minimum offer starts at 30 years. It's not worth it. Do you understand?
Sir.
For $15, one click will get you anywhere you want to go in this city. Don't matter where you want to go. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, you can never come back Don't matter how much you're kicking, screaming, I don't want to go to prison. Why? Once you plead guilty, you can never change this. You understand?
Sir,
Don't get into a car if you've had even the slightest thing. How do you plead to the offense, sir?
guilty.
I will find you guilty. I will follow the agreement. Was there an accident in this case?
That's wrong.
Is there any restitution that is owed? Who was the accident with?
He's the accident.
What does he have now as far as, and does he have a portable device and interlock? What does he have?
He has a portable device, Judge, because his license
I'm
is suspended.
disappointed.
Okay.
But he might apply for an occupational license. He's a single dad, he has 3 daughters.
You have 3 kids?
I have 3 daughters, and I'm raising them myself for 4 years, going to 5 years, and
Where's mom?
she's out there in the streets in the north side somewhere. I don't know. We don't
How old are your
communicate.
kids?
12, 9, and 5.
So what happens if you go to prison for 20 years if you pick up another DWI? Who's going to raise those girls? The first thing you should have in your mind, anytime you go out with friends, with family, if you go to a restaurant where you start drinking, the first thing you should always have in your mind are your children, because your children should guide your decisions. You know, when you're single, great. You can do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. When you get married, your life is about your wife and how to make her life or his better.
Yeah.
When you have children, your life is all but gone. Your life should be about your children and nothing else, because how you raise those kids, how you show them how you are, those kids will turn how you are. If you are a knucklehead out there where you're constantly going to jail, those kids will be like that. If you beat those kids into submission, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to think it's okay to beat their kids.
I agree. Yeah.
And if you have a drug or alcohol problem and they see you mucked up at home, lit, they're going to be the same way. And if you think your life is hard now, just wait till those girls turn to 18 and they start living like you're living now. You think life's hard now. You think life sucks. I'm telling you, those girls will emulate their father. They will emulate their mother. And if they see her on the street, if they see you on the street acting like a fool,
My link is
they
better.
will be the exact same way. And I'm telling you, they can make your life a living hell. So how you treat them now will how they're going to turn out in 10 years, in 15 years. Treat them well, treat them with love, treat them with respect. Otherwise, it's going to be a really rough ride for you for the next 20 years. So that's why I'm saying, wait till they go to bed and don't go out.
I do. I don't go out no more. I just work and just be with my kids for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't go out as much anymore. I know that coming with that. I know that, but I don't go as much out or do anything anymore. Even before I even had that,
You won.
it's always been with my kids.
I lost.
Caught me in the wrong time in the story. But either way, they messed up on
If
that.
you go to jail, if you go to prison, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to raise your daughters for you that I bet you're not going to like. Even if they go with your mom, they go with your dad, in the back of their mind, oh, my mom's on the street, my dad's in prison,
Use my link, Sally.
I'm going to go muck it up. I promise you. Be careful, Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, sir.
All right. Cut his fees, please.
And so is that a portable device?
Yeah, he's got a portable device. I'm taking the money off. I don't care about the money. My main concern is that you don't use. And I'm going to tell you now, if I find that you do, I will put you in a rehab facility in the jail. You cannot drink, you cannot use dope.